Palike, California here in Big Bear. We're looking for a little redemption from our last adventure here in San Bernardino National Forest. Today, we're going to do a huge loop around the lake, covering Skyline to the south and Holcomb Valley to the north. One thing I'm a little wary about, we're starting at 6,700 feet. I don't mind biking at elevation, but driving up this quickly and then hopping out into a bike, we'll see. Let's roll. We started out at the western corner of the lake, simply because it was the closest point to home on our loop. It was a swift 3 miles on the highway, as it was still chilly by the lake, but we weren't the only ones putting up with it. We turned into the residential, pretty envious of cabin life, before making our way out onto Mill Creek Road. As with over 4,000 feet of climbing for the day, it was nice to get some of the vertical out of the way on pavement. The dirt arrived before mile 5, and so did all the campers, meaning at least it's not hard to get lost. We got our most strenuous climb south of the lake out of the way early on, which is partially due to some choppy conditions. But anyone that has done a lot of gravel has had it a lot tougher. There's a kilometer reprieve after mile 6, followed by 2 more upward miles that gets you almost up to 8,000 feet, which is easier than you'd think because you're enjoying this fresh air and being enveloped by nature. It's a lot of rolling from this point that's more about spinning than redlining. Along the way, the signage is also really useful to stay on track, navigating your way. Another piece of useful information is that Big Bear is popular for mountain biking. We came across the start of the Big Bear Shootout, catching BMX and dirt legend Tinker Juarez. While you're riding Skyline, visually there's a lot of trees blocking your views of the lake and surrounding mountains. But every once in a while they pierce through. Just past mile 11, we pulled over for a rewarding view of San Gorgonio Mountain, which at 11,500 feet is the tallest mountain in Southern California and can even be seen from Mount Whitney 190 miles away, the longest sight line between 2 peaks in the lower 48. As if you didn't notice already, we were really enjoying this ride, although we did feel a little off. We're at mile 13 here. I think we're holding up pretty well. I don't know if the elevation is taking its toll, but I ate half my arm warmer instead of a Cliff Bar. I don't know if that's making a difference. Luckily, we were near the top, as the Snow Summit Ski Resort was tucked away behind the hills. The downhill was a little loose, but on this day, the biggest factor was the number of riders starting their mountain bike race. Making it to the start, we came across friend and part-time graveler Swanee, who was ready to launch and made the podium thanks to our encouragement. Send it, Swanee! Don't let that car beat you! From here, it was mostly downhill and all pavement. There's a lot of signage and good vibes for cyclists here before hitting break time at our halfway point. 20 miles in, I was still on my first bottle, but looking forward to the stop to add another to our party. No, not the horse. Joining us here is Todd, who's been a very important uplifting underground element for Gravel Bike California, helping on these videos.
Deep background.
And also today, Bump, help us scout out this ride.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Well, I have someone else to blame now. Uh-oh. What happened? Oh. It was short work making onto the dirt of Van Dusen Canyon, which would lead us into the heart of Holcomb Valley. You can really crush on the gravel here, as this 3.5-mile climb averages only 3%. You might feel some bumps, but it's gorgeous out here. Don't get nitpicky and find things to complain about. How you digging it so far, Vic?
Digging it.
Is this the second best gravel ride in Southern California?
Third.
The third?
Third.
Oh man. It keeps dropping by the second. It's about as much of a straight line as you'll get in a canyon. But still plenty of good stuff to see. The top flattens out. You finally see open space that wasn't caused by a ski resort. We soon hit a T and turn east away from our loop for a short and necessary detour. So, the largest gold rush in Southern California history was found here in the Holcomb Valley. Now, there aren't a lot of artifacts left over, but this place is really beautiful. Back then, they didn't have maps, roads to get up here, but still, I know why they came. This original, reassembled cabin showed what living large was like back in the day. The town of Belleville, which dates back to the 1860s, didn't last long. But luckily, the scenery did. Backtracking, we made swift work heading west over these gentle hills. We passed Palike Canyon Road, which we would touch down on later. And soon after, got one of our biggest gifts of the day.
This is what I was nervous you were gonna miss.
Thanks to Todd here. We were gonna take an abbreviated route. This is very pretty and not to be missed. So I should probably show you. The tea party would have to wait, as we could take all day enjoying these views. We got one last view of ranch life, turning on to Delamar Road, before our toughest climb of the day. Averaging 7% over 1.4 miles, this climb gets punchier towards the top. At least there's a lot of tree coverage here. Still, if this was the worst we were up against, that tells you how great the day had been. At the top, we detoured onto the Pacific Crest Trail, which, unlike the segments near where I live, allows bikes on it. There were a handful of hikers we passed, and a triad of downed trees. Even though I'm naturally skeptical of single track, this was a little over 2 miles of rollers with a good flow and some opportunities to take a look at the lake. Vic brought up a good point, that if he was on a mountain bike, his handlebars might have been caught on some of the branches. I'll trust him, as I don't think another bike is in my future. We popped out onto Palike Canyon, reacquainting ourselves with pavement for a brief stretch before hitting the dirt again, and a turnoff for another fire road taking us back to Delamar. It was about 2 miles of climbing at a gentle 4%, as it was pretty easy to settle into all of the scenery. Vic, mid-end ride assessment so far.
It's a must-do. It's epic. Needs more oxygen. More oxygen and less Jeeps. Other than that, I mean, it's epic. Look at that.
Come to think of it, while the elevation did factor in today, at this point, I felt pretty acclimated.
Getting hungry.
Lesson learned. As you should on every ride, and with some epic downhill, for all the vert that we put in. We merged onto Rim of the World Road, which dropped us into the century-old township of Fawnskin, which is also where we would say our goodbyes to Todd.
I want to say that there's a lot of great people on this ride today. But today you took home MVP honors.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks so much for giving us like an awesome route back here.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're coming. You know, there's more to see, so come back.
Okay.
Come back.
And please, just start working on it the moment we leave, okay?
No problem.
Thanks so much.
We still had about 3 miles to make it back, enjoying the flatness of Highway 38. We're also tempted to take a dip into the lake. But even though there was a 2-hour drive ahead of me, I knew it would be filled with reliving the fun. So today is a great lesson for your kids. You can have high expectations and actually meet them. The first part of the ride was amazing and just worth the ride itself. Holcomb Valley though, thank you so much, Todd. That was a real treat. Please subscribe to our channel up here. If you've got your own ideas for rides, hey, send them our way. It's a pretty big state, there's a lot of rides. Anyways, see you out there.